a brand new week. Welcome to Insta Chat with the Journalist. I'm Andile, the journalist. So yeah, it's a special episode. I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually in the city right now, grinding, because that's how we do it. That's what we need to do to survive. We need to grind hard. And I have a special guest today. His name is Floyd Lavine. He is like an amazing artist. He is like a world best Afro House DJ Nominee. And he's been doing amazing stuff, man. He's been releasing really dope music. He tours like the continent, he tours the world, putting like African music on the map. So I can't wait to chat to Floyd. I caught his set, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago at the Budweiser event here in Joburg, and I think it was pretty dope. So yeah, man, we'll be chatting to him about his journey. We'll be chatting to him about his new record label that he just launched, and we'll be also talking about his upcoming EP. He just joined the room, so I just added him so that we can get the ball rolling. Looking forward to chatting to Floyd about his journey. He's one of those guys that are very respected in the game. When I put up the the promo poster regarding the interview, a lot of DJs reached out and showed love. Brother, how are you?
How you doing, my man? How you doing?
I know I'm good, man. Why not great?
I know, great, my brother. It's good to connect, my man. Thank you.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much for making time to chat to me today.
Sure.
And yeah, and there's a lot to talk about when it comes to you. You've got a big profile, but today I just wanna chat about African Tales.
Sure.
Which is the new movement or record label that you just launched.
Yeah.
In 2021. So
Yes.
yeah, man, let's get right into it. What made you decide to launch a record label during pandemic when artists are not making money?
It feels like, when people are going the one way, it's the right time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to take those opportunities to kind of look at them as kind of like a calling in a way, like if things get tough, you need to react to your environment in a way. I find that being creative and being willing to step up to those challenges is the perfect way that will set the footprints for this label. Do you know what I mean? Against the grain, come in when things are a little bit more difficult or challenging, I would say, to think out the box, as they say,
And obviously, you're getting into this game knowing exactly what you're doing. Hence, you partnered with Paradise Worldwide.
Sure.
And they've got the footprint in digital. But, for people like me and many other people out there who don't know,
sure,
take me a bit up on the behind the scenes, the business side of running a record label, especially the distribution part.
Sure. I mean, look, running a label is challenging, number one. I guess it's fulfilling, but you have to have your back end set up, I think it's important when you're trying to start a label to know first of all, know your partners, what you need, what you can do and what you can't do. I'm definitely, for me, having worked with Paradise and having worked with the distributor before, choosing the right partner for the output that I wanted and how I wanted my music to be distributed was very important, and having that personal relationship also helps. I think the Paradise guys, when I was shopping around the label to different distributors, they were the one that gave me the feeling of a homely vibe. You know what I mean? And so it was an easier partnership with them to go forward. But to set up a label, you need to know first of all what sound you're looking for. Some people are open to whatever. I had a specific vision in my mind that I wanted to accomplish, and it was nice that Paradise understood that vision. They understood that you know what, we wanna work with this. We can see the potential of where it could be in the future, and they also wanted to set their own footprint into being part of the, let's say, the revolution, or just the new narrative that we are trying to push as Africans,
Is
and yeah,
no, sorry to cut you. You were saying?
go for it.
No, I was saying, is it safe to assume that your label, you'll be focusing on African electronic music?
Sure. I will be focusing on African, predominantly African electronic music. I like to look at stuff which is a little bit more off the beaten track, even though it's still African. I'm also looking at people that are inspired by Africa. Do you know what I mean? I'm about, like, look, let's rewrite our narrative in a way that it can be shaped by our vision. Do you know what I mean? I don't care where you're coming from, but it needs to come with that narrative of, like, you understand where we coming from. I think I think shaping the narrative and telling our stories as storytellers is much more important than just offering a product that just fits into a shelf. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So because, like, it's having been exposed to seeing how the world is receiving our sound and our flavor and the way we are, and being purposeful with our delivery, it can lead us into spaces which you would have never thought possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, not looking at the rest of the world as some form of benchmark, but looking at ourselves as narrators and creators on not only on an equal par, but just on a different tip. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking for when it comes to the label and the sound and the vision and the artist, is people that are purposeful what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Their stories wants to be told. It's not necessarily, okay, I want to sound like some European artist or whatever. No, not that. You know what I mean? I want it to be authentic, and being authentic means you have to have thought about what your message is. I hear people want to do different styles of music. I get that, but for me, the artist is important. What is the artist's message? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More than even just the music alone. The music is a vessel. It's just, it's part of what you're doing. But what is your purpose on what is yours? What's your narrative? You know what I'm saying? What is your authentic story? And I feel like when I'm looking at it from that point of view, it allows me to dig deeper into the artist, into their vision. Do you know what I mean? I'm not looking for artists that is necessarily going to be like, okay, yeah, I don't know, man. It's about just some flavor of the month stuff. It is good for them. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at as Africa as a whole, like not the divided Africa, but like, that story of, like, the narrative of what future do we want for ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what I find interesting about African electronic music is that it's listening to the sound is very raw, it's very African. As an African person, you can obviously resonate with the sound.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, it does better in European countries, and the artists are more appreciated outside of African borders. Why is it that, or am I right by saying that?
Firstly, yes, you could say you are right by saying that. I just feel maybe because but you mean mostly in South Africa, or mostly just
South
because?
Africa, yes. Let me say South Africa, yes.
In terms of, okay, because I mean, like, in South Africa we have our commercial house music. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't differentiate between. It's very hard to see, the kind of, let's say, the old school underground to like, a commercially sponsored event. It's very blurred lines. You know what I mean? And our club culture it's in a way it's kind of segregated. It would be nice to kind of have a club culture and also have a super commercial culture, so you can actually feel the kind of the underground differences. I think the reason why is appreciated that side is because look, man, mostly in Europe we have they have, let's say, they have structures like, you know, clubs, festivals, and let's say underground parties that are strictly geared towards that music. You know, the sound systems are ready. You know, like everything is kind of like, you know, sometimes, you know, you'll be back home, apart from the big sponsored events, you know, you go to a place where, you know, you only get like a speaker that is like, you know, one speaker that's on without a monitor. Do you know what I'm saying? So that music won't necessarily transcend. So it's like, of course, you'll be going to like, you know, a good chisanyama, but the guys would have spent more on like other stuff than getting a full setup. Do you know what I mean? So the music is not going to transcend. So therefore, that's why, you know, yeah, it might be nice. It might be made nice. You can listen to it in a car. It sounds dope. You go to a space. There's only like tops over there. So it could be like, you know, structural problems that could also lead to the reason why it's not being, you know, it's not as big as it should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back home, or that's what I mean. Like if you're in places where, yeah, the sound system are all tight, then yeah, definitely you could be hearing more of the artists being played, you know, because some of this music is made for better sound systems, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I was actually like a couple of weeks ago, I was mad at this venue. I'm not going to mention which venue. You know,
Yeah.
they take down the music on purpose. You know, if you're not a big artist and you're a DJ, you play there, you know, only have tops. And so
Yeah.
I hear it, and this guy was playing Afrotech, and, you know, people were just like, you
Yeah.
know, it wasn't, you know, but I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, you know, it's crazy because if you study like dance culture in SA, all the subgenres are doing, you know, relatively well, like, you know,
Yeah.
Amapiano,
Yeah.
Afro, you know, and all that. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds. But yeah, I
It will
mean,
be. It will be. It will be. It will be interesting. Also, you know, what's interesting and what I'm fascinated about, apart from just, you know, of course, we have to improve infrastructure. Just from the cultural point of view, like, you know, even if you're starting a small independent party, start with the system first and foremost. You know what I mean? Make sure you have the system correct. You don't have to. It doesn't be crazy. It doesn't have to be super loud. Just get your, you know, your bass. You know, get your tops nice. Get your sound system sounding nice. That's the start point. That would definitely transcend to the audience before anything else. You know, if you want to do that, and then also, like, you know, I think what's also going to be interesting is finding, you know, cats that are doing, or new producers that are pushing the envelope a little bit. You know, you don't have to sound like the next person. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's when the sound evolves. Instead of the sound that plateaus, you know, it's like, okay, you're waiting for that, and I feel it's important that we explore the possibilities and keep on introducing each other to new music. That's why for me it's like, okay, I want to introduce people to interesting new music slowly, but still, like, you know, you can see the new palettes. You know what I mean? Like, you start to see young producers go, wow, I'm starting to hear stuff which is like, you know, Afrofuturism, African techno. You're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, I'm more interested in the evolution of the sound, because that's going to lead us to thinking differently.
Yeah, but, you know, it's a risk. I hear you. You know, I'm guessing guys are just thinking, hey, man, I just want to get booked, so I'm going to do what works. But, you know,
Yeah, no,
I
for
definitely
sure.
agree with you.
No, but it's true. No, it's true. You have to take it's a risk and not a risk. You know what I mean? And I totally understand both sides, as you're saying. I understand, like, you know, you have to do the work. You want to be booked, so you, as a DJ, you have to play according to where you are booked. You know what I mean? It's that's just you as your normal skills. You know, if you're booked to play at a bar, play accordingly. If you're booked to play the opening set, do the opening set. You know, play what the sound is needed for that moment. I'm just talking in terms of your, you know, when it comes to your production, push it a little bit more. You don't have to always do, like, you know, your whole EP like that, but move around, try things, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of new sound, you've got a new single, We Here Now.
Yeah.
You know, tell us about the inspiration behind that song.
Oh man, for that record, especially for my new for African Tales, the label, I wanted to do a 3-track. It's a 3-track EP, and I wanted to kind of capture, kind of like, you know, my easier sound, and then there's also, you know, a futuristic kind of style, and there's also kind of a weird you know, raw and laid back sound, which I'm collaborating with some friends of mine, which is like, so I just wanted to explore sounds that wouldn't necessarily expect from what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? From the kind of like, you know, knowing me from the Afro style. I wanted to also pay homage to records like, which I grew up on, like Moloko, you know what I mean? So we here now, it's kind of like, you know, that reference point to paying homage to that kind of sound from the late 90s, you know, early 2000. You know what I mean? It's an easy record. You put it on, you know, you put it on. It's just like going back to a classic style of house and Afro actually in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And then also, I love the tone of Moloko, and I wanted to find an artist like that. So I had a friend of mine, actually my girlfriend's friend. Her name is Floyd Lavine, and she was like, you know, I was like, man, you sound like that. She's like, yeah. And then she, you know, she sang on the record, and we here now. It's also a statement of like, you know, we here now. You know what I mean? We're gonna whoever is inspired by this continent, come on board. We got you. We here to build, not even build, but like, you know, we like those allies. You know what I mean? That's the only way which we, so that's how the inspiration came together. And I mean, when you hear the EP is gonna come out later on, slowly but surely, you'll hear, you know, I'm pushing the envelope, but I'm also paying homage to the past. You know what I'm saying? And those are the small subtleties that I wanted to have on the EP. Like you paying homage to the past, but also pushing the envelope a little bit. So you can hear the reference points.
Okay, and the EP, you talking about the Storytellers EP?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, the title itself, you know, it says a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you'll be telling stories there.
We'll
so
be
you
telling
say you work with
stories
some friends. You work with some friends there. Which artists did
Yeah,
you work with?
I mean, I worked with, you must watch out for this boy called Liam Mockbridge. I mean, I love his stuff. His vocal is great, man, on Raw Soul. And I worked with a brave man called Elias Gar, and he does some great Afro tech stuff. And his stuff is great. It's also inspired by, like, you know, just inspired by our culture, man, you know. And I'm always open for people that are inspired by our culture, you know what I mean? And if they are inspired by it and they want to be part of it and also want to expand on it and add to it, I'm up for collaborating.
Okay, that's dope. You know, you work with artists from all over the world, all over the, you know, the continent, Africa, and, you know, all over the world. I know you do a lot of stuff in Berlin as well.
Sure.
And I just want to know, you know, for an artist like yourself that travels a lot, you know, what does the pandemic mean for you? Like, you know, how are you combating, like, you know, the whole closing of borders?
Man, I need a boat. That's what I'm thinking, you know, to get around these days. Need a boat. No, man, it was challenging. Look, man, I can't lie. Emotionally, it was challenging. Let's say mental health stuff was challenging. Apart from, I've been lucky that, you know, I was based in Berlin, and the government there has been great, you know, and not the best, but, you know, better than most. I've had artist friends of mine around the world that, you know, they were struggling, and it's been tough. You know, the industry is pretty much shut down. I feel like, you know, it's going to be pretty much only open in 2022, you know. So it's been challenging. I've kept myself sane by being in studio, trying to create, trying to come up with new concepts, looking at the pandemic as just another obstacle that I have to figure out, you know. Like it is what it is now, you know. I have to figure out how to creatively apply myself again. Feels like the new beginning, you know. It feels like we're starting from scratch in a way, you know.
And what does this mean for, you know, the Rise movement, the record label / you know, events, hosting company, promote, you know, what does this mean for you? Are you still a part of that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like these are the Hyena is a great friend of mine, and they'll be doing the day-to-day running of the label. I'm still gonna be there as you know, playing with them some shows when times open up. It's always good to have, you know, to have friends and partnerships in this industry. You know, I feel like, you know, instead of creating competition, is rather to figure out how we can all help each other. we all got different visions, and I feel like sometimes our end goal is the same. We want to bring joy to people. You know what I mean? And I think with the Rise, it's still growing, and I think they've just released another release now. So yeah, I think we're going to be working side by side, especially when it comes to our visions. It's the same philosophy in terms of, like, you know, trying to push the sound forward. We might approach it differently, and for me, it also opens up more to getting different types of artists to the forefront.
Okay, I know, dope stuff, man. You know, one of my favorite songs from you, probably, like, it's a lot of people in South Africa love this song, Masala. You know, do you get a lot of people wanting you to release, like, you know, similar sound like that, or, you know? I'm just curious, because I mean, that's an amazing song, and I'm sure it has done a lot for you. So,
Definitely, man. I think yeah. I think the remixes was amazing. Pablo was a master, and I was really appreciative of how he approached the creative process to that. I feel like, you know, I feel like I've stuck true to my sound in a way that, you know, if you listen to, I'm always constantly looking to pair up music that is a little bit more challenging but still accessible. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, through time, when you put all the records together, you'll start to hear the vision that I had for where I am now, like, you know, from 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's slowly but surely just coming together, you know, and I feel like, you know, having the patience to kind of have that vision will allow me to stay on course, because, like, you know, it's easy to constantly try to recreate something that was before, but, like, if it wasn't authentic for me, I feel like, you know, it's even if people want me to do something like that, I won't do it. Ain't gonna happen. That's the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, look, man, before I let you go, I just
Sure.
there are two questions here. So
Yeah.
there's one there from Come and Fire. He
Yeah,
says,
sure.
"Hi, Lavine. Is there a way to send you demos?"
Sure, there is a way to send me demos. I feel like I'm actually going to add, probably in about a week's time, I'm going to send out, watch the African Tales Instagram. I will put an email there for demos, submission and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last question there. What's your take on the African music industry having gatekeepers? Ooh, controversial.
Who are the gatekeepers? Who's saying this? Who are the gatekeepers? What are your take on the African music industry gatekeepers? I think if people are closing the gates, you must just recreate your own gate. Don't even ask for gatekeepers. Like, you know what? Like we've always done. Find your group of friends, find your people. The internet is big, and just create your own movement, and become the gatekeeper.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Last one from Stelo. What do you think of Kususa?
The thing of Kususa, I love the guys, man. They're great. They're great guys, man. I'm like, for me, I'm about, like, you know, people pushing their sound. I was a big fan of Kususa. I love that they push their sound. They're constantly trying to evolve, and they're doing their stuff, man. I've always been a big fan of their stuff, and I love their tech and their futurism stuff. And if they keep on that vibe, I'm all for that, man.
Okay. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making time, you know, to chat to me
Sure, my
today.
brother. Thank you, man.
Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, man, you know, looking forward to the Storytellers EP. Looking
Thank you.
forward to you know, to seeing you grow, and good luck on your record label, and good
I
luck to
appreciate
being
it.
artists.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thanks for everyone that came to listen through.
All right. And
All right,
sharp,
bud.
sharp.
Sharp, sharp.